This is the Nomad Stand One wireless charger. It's an incredible magnetic wireless charger that will look great with just about any desk setup, especially if you value clean and simple designs. At $110, this charger is not cheap, but it's built of quality materials and stands up beautifully on your desk or table. It's made of a solid metal backing with a glass front and a round raised magnetic charger on top. Despite its small size, these materials make this charger weigh in at an impressive 582 grams or about 1.3 pounds. It's hefty in the best way. I referred to this as a desktop charger specifically because that's kind of all it can do. Desktop, bedside table, living room end table, like those are the scenarios where this thing makes sense. It does not fold down, it's heavy as heck. You are simply not going to want to travel with this thing. But if you want a sturdy addition to a table that allows you to charge whenever you need, this thing will do it. Now you can get the Stand One in either black, which is known as carbide, or white, which is typically known as silver. Both colors are very clean and would look great with a minimalist desk or house design. My only complaint with the white model is that this glass front in certain lighting appears to be a bit yellowish. It has this yellowish hue, which makes it look a little bit aged or dirty. Kind of like if you've ever had a clear plastic phone case, which kind of yellows over time. In other lighting, it looks great, but once you see it, it's a little hard to unsee. Just like how it's hard to unsee that the subscribe button below probably indicates that you haven't clicked it yet. So if you want more great videos like this, just go ahead and click that, please and thank you. Now from a usability perspective, one-handed operation is possible thanks to the weight of the charger. It's not quite as stable as the Peak Design charger that I reviewed previously, but it's good nonetheless. You can easily attach your phone with one hand. The magnets are just strong enough to pick up the charger with the phone attached. Removing it is easy. Just grab your phone and pull the bottom off first, and the charger should stay in place. Because the base is relatively short, it's possible that you will move it slightly if you have a particularly strong magnetic case, for example, but overall it is solid and easy to use. One thing that will rule this charger out for many people is the fact that it's a single device charger, meaning that you won't be able to charge your phone and headphones simultaneously, or your phone and a watch, or some other device. If you need more charging power, there is also a Stand One Max, which includes a spot for both AirPods and an Apple Watch, or the base One Max, which forgoes this vertical stand design for instead a flat phone charger, useful if your phone doesn't have MagSafe. If you do elect to get the stand version, it obviously works great with Apple's standby mode, whether it is this one or the bigger one. Included in the box is a 2-meter long braided and color-matched USB-C to USB-C cable. It's removable from the back of the charger, meaning that you could use your own cable if you desired. The included cable is a bit on the stiffer side, but it'll get the job done. There is no included power adapter, so you'll need to supply your own 20-watt or more power adapter. If you need one of my favorites is the Anker Nano. You can get a 20-watt version to even match the colors of your stand, whether this white and silver or a black one. They go for about $15. Now let's talk about the different versions of the Stand One, which is where things get a bit confusing. If you go to the Nomad website today, you'll see that the current Stand One offered is the Gen 2 version. So naturally you'd think that there would be some obvious delineation between Gen 1 and Gen 2, and we'd be able to talk about what's changed, what's improved, and we'd all be happy. If only life were that simple. In my research, I've spotted a few different types of the Stand One. First, the earliest chargers had a non-removable charging cable in the back. Thankfully, the new ones lose that and instead opt for the removable USB-C cable that this one comes with, which is a big upgrade so that you can easily either alter the length or you can just ensure that you can replace the cable in the event that your cat chews through it. The charger appears to have always come in two different colors, a black and a white. The black model originally had a white charger on the front, which didn't look that great, but then they smartly opted to make it black on black. The white version has always had silver around the back until this one here, which is now white all the way around. Finally, there's charging specs. The early models had an Apple MFI certification, which gave them the official Made for MagSafe badge on the box. More recently, they've shifted over to a Qi2 certification instead, which essentially means that they have the same specs as the MFI version without the need for undergoing Apple's onerous certification program. Qi2 is new and makes things like MagSafe magnets and 15-watt charging standard, so there isn't much of a benefit to getting an MFI certification anymore. The good news is that these are all good changes that either increase the durability, make the product more beautiful, or adopt the latest in charging standards. I just wish that it was a bit more cut and dry which model of the charger was what. Despite the fact that Nomad uses Gen 1 and Gen 2 naming conventions, it seems like they must take more of a Tesla-type approach to product changes, rolling out improvements when they're ready rather than in line with specific models. I say this because despite there only being 2 advertised models at this point, you can see products with various different combinations of these items throughout just reviews on YouTube. This guy has the original black charger with the white puck on it and integrated cables. This guy wound up with the black on black model, still with the integrated cable. His box also didn't show made for MagSafe or Qi2, interestingly. This reviewer got a detachable cable that was still made for MagSafe. This video came out just over a month ago, by the way. And finally, here is one with the Qi2 certification on the box, but this one came out over 8 months ago. So I think it's pretty obvious that despite what it says on the website, there are more than just Gen 1 and Gen 2 versions of the charger operating in the background somewhere. I don't point this out strictly to criticize Nomad, though I do want them to make this all more clear on their website. But I also want to make sure that you know what you're getting and what options exist out there so that you wind up with something that you're going to be happy with if you decide to purchase one of these chargers, especially since they're not cheap. I, of course, tried to reach out to Nomad to clear all of this up, and after several back and forths with their AI agent, Ollie, I didn't feel like I was getting any clear answers. 12 days after I gave up with Ollie, I did get a response from a human who, for the first time, referenced this Qi2 version as a Gen 3, but indicated that it was currently sold out and they didn't know when it would be back in stock. So based on everything I've learned, it seems like Gen 2 products utilize Apple's MFI certification, whereas Gen 3 is Qi2. They must have had a backstock of those Gen 2s that they're looking to get rid of at this time, which is why they removed the Gen 3 product from their website shortly after I purchased it, though it technically wasn't labeled Gen 3, just Qi2. Both the Stand One Max and Base One Max are currently selling a 3rd gen Qi2 version, so eventually I assume that all of the Nomad chargers will be Qi2, which is exactly what they should be moving towards as it's the new standard. The good news is that many of the things that make this charger great don't change across any of the models. The physical design of the charger remains the same across the board, though the colors change slightly. I don't think that the integrated cable version is available for purchase any longer, which is great since that's the only red flag that I'd call out across these iterations. Finally, before Qi2 became the standard, getting an MFI certified product meant the difference between 15 watts of charging and 7.5 watts of charging for your iPhone. So it was absolutely worth it to pursue the certified product. Now that Qi2 has standardized the round MagSafe magnets and enabled 15 watt charging across the board, there isn't much of a bonus anymore to MFI. The only remaining bonus that may exist is the fact that the latest iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max can charge wirelessly at 25 watts with the new MagSafe puck. But at this point, I haven't seen anything that clearly explains whether an MFI product would support this 25 watt speed. Either way, the difference between 15 watts and 25 watts is more like fast to very fast versus 7.5 to 15, which feels more like slow to fast. In testing, I did compare the Nomad Stand One to both the original MagSafe puck and the newer one that was released at the end of 2024. I used the same testing method that I used in that MagSafe video, charging from 30% to 40%, to get an idea of about how quickly it will charge. What I found was that the Nomad charges nearly identically to the original MagSafe speed, still behind the new MagSafe, but totally respectable for a 15-watt charger that's going to charge up pretty quickly. So unless you're obsessed with getting the fastest charging possible, you shouldn't worry too much about those extra 10 watts. All right, let's talk about value and pricing. The Nomad Stand One charger is $110 at its MSRP. That is not cheap. However, there are some solid differentiators to justify the price. First of all, the product is a very good charger, which utilizes either the latest Qi2 standard or Apple's official MFI certification to ensure you're getting the best charge possible. That charger sits on a very solid base made of incredibly sturdy materials that should last a long time. It just feels like pure quality when you touch it. Aesthetically, it's clean and minimalist, which means that it could be perfect for specific desk setups. It also supports Apple's standby mode and has a removable charging cable. On the flip side, there are several deal breakers that may take this charger off the table for you. The first is obviously the price. It's quite expensive and may be too much for many people. The fact that this charger is desktop or table only and doesn't support folding down or travel scenarios will also mean that many use cases will be impossible. Because of its fixed position, it also means that it cannot charge non-MagSafe or Qi2 devices that lack the necessary magnets to hold the device on. It also is a single device charger, which I don't mind personally, but I know many people prefer the ability to charge multiple devices simultaneously. Don't forget to check out the Max versions though, if your only deal breaker is one device charging. There is the coloring issue with the whole white version, which makes it appear slightly yellow in certain instances. There's also no included power adapter, which is tough to swallow given the price. And finally, there is confusion around the different versions. That's a lot of deal breakers to consider, but there's definitely people out there who are looking for a premium charger to match a specific desk aesthetic and want to use the charger just to charge their phone or other MagSafe-compatible devices. And if that's you, then you won't be disappointed with this $100 solid hunk of metal and glass. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.